Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, where we will bring you candid conversation. In each conversation, we will talk about real life ups and downs while tackling unresolved matters. We will also unmask issues and truly speak straightforward and candid about our needs and brokenness, while allowing ourselves to exhale so that we can become victorious. This is a place where you can be open to the possibilities of living life in abundance while gaining tools to become bold and complete. So let's get to it. Are we back? Are we back? We are back. We are back. Well, I tell you, I hope y'all enjoyed the music, got some ads in, got to know what's going on. And now it's time for us to get this show rolling. We're going to introduce the guests. Really, it's not much we can say that we have not said about these two wonderful women that show up every third Saturday. But again, Brother Carter, you do it like no other. Can you please? How are you going to look at him?
I know.
Right. Come on, Brother Carter, give it to him. Introduce these ladies.
Yes. Coming to the stage today.
Coming to the
Back
stage.
by popular
Demand.
Demand. Yes, that word. Yeah.
There you go. That right there.
We have Miss Stephanie Burrell and we have also Miss Tierra Sade on the show today.
Yes.
And we want you guys to introduce yourselves in your own unique and special way. Starting with you, Miss Tierra.
I'm Tierra, and I'm just a girl.
She's just a girl.
Just a girl. I'm grateful to be here. I'm family. I love these people. These are my people.
You better know it.
These are my people.
And your people love you right back.
Yes.
Oh, I feel it in my heart.
Yes, and they are daughters of the Love and Victory Show with Val also.
Come on, say that.
Yeah. Them my nieces over there. And we also have Miss Stephanie. Good morning, Miss Stephanie.
Good morning.
How art thou?
Art thou is great.
Yes.
Thou art great.
There you go.
Go.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, sweetie. Introduce yourself in your own unique and special way.
OG Carter Crew.
Okay.
Here since, back in the little union. I love y'all, and I'm happy to be here.
All right.
Yeah.
No, that part.
That part right there.
You have anything to add to that, man?
I do. You know, these ladies, and that's why I love them. They're so humble. They're so sweet. But our show today is Wifey or Sidepiece. Neither one of them are
really.
Neither one of them. But see, they're going to therapize, as Brother Carter would say. We're going to therapize some folks out there that's in need of something. We're going to give them a little counseling. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to talk to the wifeys that are wives that are doing it the right way, and we're going to talk to those that have to put up with a little buffoonery, them side pieces.
So you got to be. It's a choice to be a wifey or side piece, or
it can be a choice. Some people make the right choice. Some people make the wrong choice. Let's figure it out.
Okay.
So I have them on here because they are two professionals. First, they're women of God, and being a woman of God, they have not forgotten. They're not so high up that they're unrelatable, and at the same time, they can keep it honest and keep it real. And they can kind of help us navigate through this conversation. So I heard someone else attempting to have this conversation, and I was sitting in the background going like, are y'all serious? I'm like, the Love and Victory Show can do it better. So let's go. Let's go. So
it's wifey or side piece?
Wifey or side piece.
Okay.
So I'm going to start this off this way. When y'all saw the title, because y'all didn't know where I was going with this, I can only imagine these two ladies.
Perplexed.
I know. They were like, but they
hard pressed
on every side. If I know these two ladies, they're like, neither.
What the hell?
What the hell? I got us talking about this. So what was y'all thought on that?
I felt like what the hell.
Okay.
I just second that. And then I started thinking about the topic more in depth after my knee-jerk reaction. And one is a fundamental truth about our identity. Our identity is that we are wives. And that identity was not established because after our birth, a man is coming to rescue us and offer us the title of a wife. No, that truth resides because a man did come, put on a suit of flesh to rescue us over 2,000 years ago.
Come on now.
And we are his bride.
Come on now.
So we are wives, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not. Yeah. I think the issue comes when in our garden, there is a serpent and we start conversing with the serpent.
Come on now.
And we allow the serpent to lure us away from our God-given identity. And then we become duplicitous and we don't know who we are. And then we take on the persona of a side chick.
Come on now.
Ooh. But you were created to be a wife. You are a wife.
So today we're going to help you
get back
transform.
I'm gonna snatch your edges.
We're going to get him to do the Romans 12 thing, huh?
Yes. Transform.
Yeah.
Your mind.
Yeah. Well, if you guys can hear out there, now y'all understand why I had to have this conversation with these two. So Tiara, come on, give it to me. What you thought? Besides you said, what the hell? Give me your version.
My initial thought was,
what the hell?
But the more that I sat with it, because I was like, Lord, you can be glorified.
Let me see how.
But help me get there. But I think number one, it's a conversation that should be had because it needs to come from this perspective. One, right? And it has a lot to do with the stuff that I coach women on. All of us could fall victim to being somebody's side chick when you don't know, like Stephanie was talking about, your identity, you don't know your value. There are people out there that can take advantage of your lack of identity. And you can find yourself in a situation where you're getting a piece of something when you were called to get the whole thing.
That part.
And there are some people that are comfortable in it. There are some people that think is worthy of bragging on.
I like to push back on whether or not they're comfortable in it. I think that they like to portray that they're comfortable in it because they're in it. And so they know that they have sold themselves so low that they are, sometimes you don't know.
Place of acceptance.
That they just feel like, okay, I'm going to play this game.
Well, I will say, I think that the reason why they're comfortable in it or think that they're comfortable in it is because they have placed value in certain things. Like, I get the gift.
I get a purse.
Yeah, I get the gifts and stuff out of it. And they've really sold themselves short. They really have a very short-sighted view of who they are. And so they have a short-sighted view of what relationship really is. And I don't think, to Stephanie's point, I say it all the time, a man doesn't make you a wife. The Bible says when a man finds a wife, meaning when you find me, I'm already a wife.
Period.
It's just a matter of if I'm your wife.
Ooh.
So let's get an acronym going.
That's a bar. That's a bar.
The Lord makes you a wife, and then the man decides if you his wife.
We was doing an introduction, and then I had to go and throw in the title because I knew this conversation was going to be hot.
We
ready.
I
got to get this back on track.
Ready.
I know we all jumped right in.
We ready.
We ready for you.
Come on now. Come on.
Okay, can we get that acronym so we can get this show going?
Yes, the acronym of the day is RISE.
Enough said.
Because we will rise above.
The buffoonery.
R is for respect, a deep admiration or regard for oneself and others, acknowledging their value, rights, and dignity. I is for intentions, purposeful thoughts or plans that guide actions and reflect sincerity and mindfulness in decision-making. S is for self-worth, the sense of one's value or worth as a person, rooted in self-respect and confidence in personal abilities and identity. E is for empowerment, the act of giving oneself or others the tools, confidence, and authority to take control of their lives and achieve their potential.
Wow.
That's good.
That's good. Y'all
So
ready?
sweet.
We supposed to go there. We're going to rise. Okay, we're going to rise. Okay, I'm going to ask this question. How does society and modern dating blur the lines between commitment and casual relationships?
Ooh.
Ask
that one more time.
You just come out the gate.
Coming out,
Right.
Yes, I'm coming out like.
Can you ask that one more time? Yes,
I
please.
sure will. How does society and modern dating blur the lines between commitment and casual relationships? For some.
I don't think that society blurs the line.
Mm-hmm.
I think that society has made it very clear what side they stand on. Hookup culture is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be monogamous. Polygamy is widely accepted.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like society has shown us what side they're on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like biblical principles tell us the other side. It's like literally black and white. The line only gets blurred when you allow both to infiltrate your mind.
Ooh.
Now that becomes a place of confusion and contention where now you have a tug of war of, oh, well, hookup culture says that it's okay to go out with a man and sleep with him on the first date. But then the Bible tells me that I'm more precious than rubies and that I should be protective of this thing and to guard my heart above all else because out of it flow the issues of life. So you only have that toiling when you are listening to both. And then not just listening, but digesting and consuming the information of both on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And could that come
And
from?
you have to be careful about the information you allow to infiltrate you, throughout life.
Yeah.
Yes. Could that be also play a part in your circle, your village? Because a lot of times you're getting both perspective. You can be of good character. You can really in good morals, but sometimes the company you keep, and that's why you have to check your circle. They, and not saying that they're bad people, but they may come from a different.
Well, you don't necessarily have to be in the circle these days. You got social media to do a whole lot of this stuff for you.
Well, that's still your circle because you're spending so much time searching. Those thoughts are on your mind, so you're searching for that same buffoonery because you have someone that you're talking to and you're engaging with. So I think that plays a big part. I like that. TR, you have anything? And then I'm coming to Abigail.
I'm kind of gonna ride on Stephanie's point. And I have this conversation, I don't want to say too often, but it comes up because it's an important topic in our generation for people that still desire marriage, right? And want to do it God's way. I think that society has gotten really far away from biblical principles and the things that God has asked of us and called us to do and commanded of us to do. And when you do that, you really open the door for everything.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the same people that think that hookup culture and all of that is cool, they still are like, no, well, this is too much. And you once you open certain doors, you just allow for all of the other stuff to come flooding in. I think that the contention that seems to be happening online between men and women, and kind of these new attitudes of, well, I don't need you and I don't see the value that you would bring to my life. I feel like that plays a huge part in the hookup culture and situationships and all of this other foolishness. And it's really unfortunate because we do have a remnant, and I don't even want to say a remnant. I think a lot of people still desire marriage, but marriage is an institution that was created by God, not government. So if you want to engage in that, covenant, which is what it is, you can't make up your own rules and way to do it
to fit your narrative,
right? And I think because we've gotten so used to individually, not even talking about the institution of marriage, we've gotten away individually from following his commandments. How can you do it with two people when as an individual
you can't even
I don't live by that?
Come on now.
That's good.
Really good. Okay, Abigail, I know you had something you wanted to say.
Yes. I just think, the whole hookup culture and what you guys were talking about, it gives women, I'm speaking about women specifically right now, a false sense of empowerment and liberation. And I'm not a person who grew up with God, really. Like, that was not something that was really a big part of my life as I was becoming an adult and stuff like that. So I didn't have that side that you were talking about. You guys are saying there's two conversations being had. I was only really getting the one. And I was definitely a person who did a lot of things I shouldn't have done back then. And whenever you kind of grow up and you realize that it's not empowering, it's not liberating. And I think it comes from a place of for so many centuries, men have had a lot of more of that sexual power. Even in history books, you read about how these kings had all these different wives and stuff like that. And so I think women a lot of women, I'm not gonna say all women, a lot of women took that and was like, okay, well then I'm gonna do the same thing to get that same kind of empowerment. But men and women are different. We get our power in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, you know, I've come more closer to God now, but I also don't think you need to be close to God to feel that and to know that. You know what I'm saying?
It's in you.
Because it's in you and you feel it whenever you are, you know, you just hooked up with somebody on the first date and then they leave and you feel like lonely. Yeah, you got your little cuddles, you got your little something, whatever you got from it. And then it's lonely after. And then you feel
empty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think it gives women a false sense of empowerment. And then when you actually live it and do it, you realize it's not. And just because, you know, there's all these women online saying like, oh, you know, get all these bodies, do whatever they're saying online. It's all a facade.
But I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what it is. You're putting, it's a broken person. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to ask Stephanie if you can kind of put some clinical background to that, because for the people that are thinking that it's okay for you, you're in a good state to go out there and hook up with this person, hook up with that person, take all of that in. What is really going on with that person emotionally?
Yeah, I mean, when we are in pain, we go into protective mode. Mm-hmm. And that is, I'm assuming, a way to protect themselves from future pain. If I take on this persona as if I don't care, then that means that I'm going to protect myself from future pain. So clinically, there's this thing.
While hurting yourself the whole time.
While hurting yourself the whole time.
But continue.
And I'm going to put clinical language to it.
There you go.
So the way that God created our brains and organ is that we have this ability to rewire the way that we think, to adapt to situations, and to build resilience. It's called neuroplasticity.
Okay, neuroplasticity.
And period. I got you, friend. And so I think what happens is we create these new behaviors and ways of thinking based on the pain that we endured, and we create this persona around it because we're created to adapt, and the body and the brain and the mind is trying to adapt to a past experience that caused pain to prevent future pain. But you don't prevent future pain by acting like you don't have a heart. Yeah. And I want to take this a step further. If anyone has seen this, and I'm not going to say the young lady's name, but there is a young lady out there right now, and she's trying to beat the Guinness World Record.
Yes, I saw that.
Of sleeping with the most men in one day. The highest record right now is in the 900s, and she's going to sleep with 1,000 men. She had a test run more recent where she slept with almost 100 men in a day. And as the cameras were filming her, when she came out the room, she was disheveled. She was crying, inaudible. But then she got on camera and she said, oh, it doesn't matter. This is what I want to do. It goes back to your point. This is a false persona, a facade, and people are trying to protect themselves by becoming this person that they aren't. But at some point, that facade it falls off, and the real person, the hurt person, the person who has felt lonely, not worthy, they start to emerge.
And I think it's a great example, because the woman walking out of that immediately felt broken, felt dirty, felt used. But then she instantaneously, like most people that are broken, went into acting stage. She's on stage. You're presenting that. What is that called?
That representative,
not that person that she is. So that's I love that. Go ahead.
I wanted to add two quick things. So number one, to Stephanie's point, anytime there's like a major rejection, that's when we kind of start to create these like alter personalities.
Alter egos.
Yeah. That's how narcissists are born.
Oh, come on.
Because of some sort of rejection or some sort of trauma. And when you don't have the emotional capacity to deal with it, oftentimes we start to create this barrier or this shield or this other version of ourselves that is immune to the pain that we've went through before. And that version of ourselves welcomes that pain, but we call it something else. Because this other person that I've created to kind of protect me because I don't know how to deal with it, they don't care about the trauma. They're not affected by it. And to be quite honest with you, it's a spirit.
Come on.
Okay. The other part that I wanted to share, and I've talked about this before with like in my inner circle. This is just a personal belief of mine. I also think that it's important that the conversation of promiscuity and sexual discipline is something that's important for men as well as women. We mostly hear it discussed.
I'm glad you brought that part up.
We mostly hear it discussed around women.
Yeah.
But it's important. I don't want no man that anybody can have.
Please say that again.
I don't.
Put them in a trash.
You know? But I wanted to add for women that in my mind, and again, the conversation is important across the board, but I'm just saying something as a woman. Being promiscuous as a woman, it has to be something that's emotional. It's not physiological, because physiologically, a man has to know your body to please you. Mm-hmm. So for this young woman that is having sex with 100 with the goal to have a sex with 1,000 men, you are literally giving yourself over as an object to these men, because 100 men are not coming in worried about how to please you. But the way physiologically that men are created, they gonna get theirs. They
please themselves.
They're going to get theirs.
Ooh.
But for a woman, a man has to really care about you getting yours.
That is so
and
good.
know your body so that you can get yours. Yeah. So any woman that is just going from person to person to person, it's not because it feels good to you. Ooh. Because the way that our bodies are created, it's made for one person to take the time to get to know you so that they can please you.
Oh, come on.
It's not, I'm not doing this and being promiscuous just because it feels good. So there's something else
going on.
I think it's at that point, it's not about enjoying the process.
You think it's empowerment.
A trophy.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at what I did. Look at this number that I got.
Actually, the trophy is failing. You didn't get a trophy because you actually failed yourself.
Yeah.
And especially what God had intended for you, because to come up out of sleeping with 1,000 men in a day, that's your goal. Just really think of it. Let's just think about that person's self-worth, how she see herself, that she would want to lay down with 1,000 men in one day.
But you also have, since we're talking about side piece or wifeys and stuff like that, we also have a lot of women that remain in abusive relationships that can be seen in the same manner.
True.
Let's say.
Yep.
And but what they do the same thing is what you're saying.
With
the sexual person is doing.
So
as far as changing their mind, adapting their thoughts to stay in a relationship when they're being abused.
I think to a certain extent, yes. I mean, it takes a woman in domestic violence or a person in domestic violence almost 7 years. Like statistically, that was the statistic, to leave their abuser. People do what they need to get their needs met, even if it's not in a healthy way. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I think is happening.
So I just want to say, I also heard a story. I've been watching a lot of like different podcasts where people talk about their story too. I think there's also, we're seeing this more and more with the rise. I'm not going to say that website, but where people put themselves out there and people pay to see their body or whatever, of like sex trafficking happening within a marriage. Like the partner will say, oh, you should go on this website. Let me take pictures of you. I want to see you do something with another person. And it essentially is being trafficked within your own household. And again, it's seen as like this liberating thing, like, oh, we're just having a good time. We're swinging. We're doing whatever. And it can easily turn into something.
Well, it has
abusive.
already turned into something. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's already turned into something. If your husband wants to share you with anyone, your husband wants to put you on display to make money, so that you may be married in title, but it's not a marriage before God.
Yeah. Back in the 80s, there were numerous of marriages went downhill. There was a drug called crack cocaine came out on the scene back in the late 80s. And there were men turning their wives on to crack cocaine. And once they became addicted to the crack cocaine, they allowed their wives to do whatever, any means necessary to get the drug. And so that's for another day. That's what I was going to say.
That's fine. That's fine. I appreciate you saying that, because again, that's another spirit controlling that. So that's a mental thing and that's clinically
it's demonic.
That's demonic. So again, that's what.
And you don't even see it, but
you don't.
They come up on you and
There's a story in another country. I've heard it actually a couple of times where a wife went to the doctor. She found out that she had an STD, and come to find out after, some time, her husband had actually been drugging her, and he had been selling her to a number of men, like a high number of men. He'd been getting paid for men to sleep with her, and her memory was getting worse and worse, but she'd been drugged for years. This had been going on. And one of the people, he videotaped it. And one of the people that had slept with her without her knowledge, because she was out of it, was their next door neighbor.
Oh, wow.
But she's in a lawsuit.
That's not in another country. That's happening right here.
Well, yeah, but the case is happening in another country, and they're actually in court and, doing all of these things because for years she'd been married to this man and not even knowing that he'd been trafficking her. Yeah.
Talking about the portrayal. Okay, I want to go back to a little bit, and then we're going to start doing some question and answers. I want to go back to Wifey and Sidepiece. We're talking about the effects of the side piece. Yeah. But let's really talk about the beauty of being a true virtuous woman and a wife. So for me, I want to start right here as a wife in the house. You are protected, not just by protection of your man, you're protected by God because you're following that order. But I couldn't imagine being with a man that seed me in my body as just a get off. And I think a lot of times, yes, men are very visual and sexual and all of that. But Lawrence is a man that is more concerned with my whole body, not about just sexing me. You get what I'm saying? And I think what happens is women get into relationships for sometimes for the wrong reasons. And when you get into a relationship, you go into a relationship and you start one way. And you expect that man to want to autocorrect. When you start to autocorrect, it doesn't always work out that way. Yeah. So really get into a relationship knowing why you're in that relationship and what you're planning on getting out of that relationship, and be in covenant with God first. So I want to jump in on that.
I like that. I like that a lot because you have a very rich perspective because you have been married for a long time. Yeah. And you've gone through so many seasons together.
Yes. And you go through the seasons, but you go through it. And there, I like that you said, like, we've had a lot. But I think about everything that we went through to get to this. I've learned so much about myself. While learning something about myself, I really got to learn him. And when you're in a marriage.
Do you know me?
Oh, I know you.
Do you know me?
I know you. You got to know your partner, and you got to take care of your partner as he takes care of you. So I'm going to leave that right there. And we're going to go to some of these questions.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead, jump on in it.
I was just going to say, if you are a side piece and then he makes you a wife, you didn't win.
You did not win.
You lose him how you got him. Yeah. You just don't find another side piece.
Before we move forward on that, there are a lot of career women out there today that are so career driven that they enhance or should I say, want their man to have a side piece.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that. So there are women like that because they're so busy.
They're so busy.
Oh, so men be having that conversation. Well, let me make it clear. Hold on, let me make this real clear for these 100,000 plus.
No, that's a real thing though.
Well,
it's a real thing.
It ain't over here.
She's doing a PSA real quick.
That's not. No, it ain't you. You wouldn't give a damn if it fell off. If you can't get nothing with
it. Ain't nobody have
that part there. But there are some women out there that want their husbands, in some psychological way, want their husband to be pleased, and they are not necessarily able to do that for their husband.
Oh wow!
I'm still stuck on.
I believe it though.
Can I add one last thing here? So a lot of times women become side pieces. I don't want to say out of manipulation because it's a choice, but I do want to say this. I've said this before, but I want to say it here. As a woman, when you meet a man and He eventually tells you about his situation, or vice versa, other way around. For you, a man and meet a woman.
Mm-hmm.
If they're still involved with somebody, I don't care how much they're complaining to you about their partner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how bad they're saying their partner is and how much wrong that person has done to them. What happens is when that happens, people start to think, oh, well, it's not wrong because the other person has done so much to them
To
and
justify them.
I'm different. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be different. Like, because they paint this picture like my partner is just so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because the side piece thing is not just some Jezebel woman that's walking up to steal people's husbands. Like, this happens to regular women who want to be married, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what that man or woman says about their partner. You don't know them like their partner knows them.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
So don't you ever for 2 seconds think that there's something special about you that's going to change the fact that this person was willing to step outside of their situation. Because that's how a lot of people end up becoming a side piece.
Wow. Wow.
They come into a situation that's messed up, or they might be going through something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that there's something. It's very arrogant to assume.
I'm gonna leave my wife to be with you. Is what you said.
It's not even I'm gonna leave them. They just talk so badly about the other partner, and the other person is like, well, I would never do what they're saying their partner did. Don't ever think that there's something about you that's so different. You don't know that person like their husband or wife knows them. So just leave it alone.
So what you've actually
if they were really that bad, they would have left before they got involved with you. And if they respected you, they would leave before they get involved with you.
If they loved you and respected you, they wouldn't go outside the relationship talking about you.
Period.
Yeah.
Right.
That part. And so when you go out and start doing things like that, you already opening yourself up to a vulnerability state of mind, should I say.
That's right.
And so you open the radars up for the other person to say, okay, he doing that for you, huh? All right.
I can do it.
And it happens to men and women.
Yeah.
And how do y'all deal with that? Like, if y'all have an issue with one another, do you ever talk about it to
Absolutely
a confidant
not.
or is it only to each other?
Never, ever. First of all,
I would never share anything in my house with anyone.
I love this. What happens in it stays.
Between me and the Lord, that's it. That's as far as it goes.
And no shade, I'm not puffing him up at all. That's even since we were kids, when we were young dating. He was not discussing it. Whatever.
It's women. We're the ones who take the issues outside the house.
We're not going to the pastor. We ain't doing none of that.
Yeah.
Where y'all going?
Yeah, to
the upper room.
To the upper room.
And if it gets so tough,
Jesus.
all right, y'all. We're gonna take some.
I want to add something really quick.
Go ahead.
I think we all grew up watching like the princess movies and the girl who finds her prince charming, and we're in love with this idea of like, oh, you're gonna meet the love of your life and it's gonna be so perfect.
Come on,
and I do believe that the fairy tale can happen for people. The love of your life.
I haven't seen it yet.
The love of your life is not gonna be married to somebody. The love of your life is gonna be ready for you when it's time.
Yes.
When they come into your life.
Yes.
So if you're feeling all these butterflies, ooh, like they make me feel so good, but they're in a relationship, that's not the one.
That's not your man. That's not your woman.
All righty then.
have-
Kelsey, you have anything to add before we go to these questions?
Yes.
Comments.
Oh, I'm going to bring up these comments because they're really hot.
Okay.
Before we go there, can a wife be a side piece?
Huh?
Can a wife?
See, always doing something.
If he's
somebody
giving,
Be a side piece.
if a guy's giving all his attention to another woman, and I get where you're going with that. I get where you're going with that.
Baby, at that point, the marriage is over.
The marriage been over.
OVA.
So they just in there.
Okay, that's what you say. But there are a lot of women that staying in a relationship with a man for whatever reason.
Get their needs met.
To get their
whatever, whether it's financials or you know what I'm saying. So
you can be.
So a wife can be a side piece and
be in a marriage. I guess you could.
Wife,
be settled with it.
You're not a wife.
But wife and side piece, the mentality originates in the mind.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't become something until you believe it.
Yes.
You could have a thought about stepping out on your husband. It's not until you reinforce that thought with a belief that it gives it power.
Ooh.
So I feel like both are a mentality because you can be a wife and also be a side piece.
Mm.
Because you out here letting that man
Mm-hmm.
treat you how he wants.
There you go.
He's spending all day and night all his money at the strip club, and then he comes to you at 2 a.m.
Well, maybe
That it's giving side piece, even though that's your husband.
Well, I ain't gonna
It's
call
what you
nobody out.
allow.
I'm calling
Yeah.
somebody
Your
out.
mom.
That's just
So
No, my
this
brain.
wife and side piece thing, it can go a lot of different ways.
Well, that's what we wanted it to. So
Yeah.
we're gonna take some of these questions because they are hot. You
Come
wanna
on,
go to
Good
Rita
Kiss.
say?
Let's do angels first. I
We're gonna
like
do
angels.
angels.
Yeah.
Okay. So Angel,
Is that my daughter, Angel, out there?
Yes.
Good morning,
girl.
daughter. How
Hey,
you doing?
Angel.
All righty. What does she say?
she said, "Hey, it's Angel. How do you feel about those couples that are saying they are married but not legally married and don't feel that it is necessary to take the step because of spirituality?"
Oh, now that's buffoonery. But I'm gonna let Stephanie take this.
You
one.
talking about them common folks, huh?
Come on, Stephanie, take this.
We live together, but
It's about what is it, 7 years in Texas is common law. I just feel like you need a license to go fishing.
There you go.
You need a license to drive a car.
You need a license to have a gun.
You need a license to have a gun. If you want to surrender yourself to this person without a license, do as you please. People always say it's just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of no. It is an established covenant.
Right,
There
right.
is a spiritual connection that happens when you say out of your mouth, "I do" to this individual.
Yes, yes.
it should be a spiritual.
People tell themselves
yeah.
what they want to tell themselves because they still want to operate in duality.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's not get married so I can still be raggedy,
Yeah.
but then I still want to keep your go
But
ahead. 'Cause
Stephanie, these men be saying that if I get married to you on paper, then you could take half. Like,
Well, see,
That's
well,
not
it's a no fault
evidence.
state now too. So
I still can't.
I'ma take it anyway. I'ma take it anyway.
Anyway, to people like that, that's not called love. That's not real love. And for you to marry someone, to me, you seem like you should have a love for the person.
It's giving
that you have.
insurance policy.
But,
Yeah.
but what I'm hearing people
100%.
say, what I'm hearing from this question, she's asking the question, the people that are out there not wanting to get married, but calling it.
I got a limit.
There you, okay.
I feel like everybody should have a limit.
Yeah.
It's a certain number of years or whatever it is for each person to determine.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you pray about it because, but I'm not finna be no 7-year girl. If we get to the point where I could be a common law,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll go upside your common head.
Yeah.
no.
What's your number?
And once you start
Well, I ain't gonna
approaching
say
your
that.
30s,
No, I want to know.
once you start approaching your 30s and
Exactly.
stuff,
And I'm not saying the 18, 19, 20, you need to have a number. I'm talking about if you in your
Yeah.
30s, have a number.
What's your
You in
number?
30s beyond.
Well, don't that sound,
What's her number? Don't answer the question.
what's your
That's
number?
pressing.
What's your number?
Bring
Don't
it to
pressure
you.
me.
Okay, so my friend don't want to share that on this air.
Just come ready. You don't need a number. Just come ready. Just come ready. Just come. If you seeking, you come. If you're not seeking, you still trying to figure it out. You stay where you at.
Well, here's the
Period.
I think the big mistake is that women sometimes and men, but especially sometimes women, we settle. You get to an age and you
Desperate.
think, okay, I'm at this age. I got to hurry up and I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. No. Now, what I hope you're not doing at the age of 30 and 40, still being someone's girlfriend. That sounds silly. You
Well, you got to be a girlfriend for a little bit before you just jump.
can you imagine somebody saying, I'm not saying, I just can't fix my mouth to say, that's my.
How long should somebody be a girlfriend if they're 40? If they are divorced
at
or
40,
single?
don't call me your girlfriend.
What they
Y'all
go?
got to come up with
What you want to call you?
Got to be something else.
My future wife.
Like what?
My
Maybe
fiance.
it's something. If not girlfriend, I ain't been a girl in a long
Girlfriend
time.
sounds
That just sounded like-
Woman friend.
I'm sorry. I got some highly intelligent people in here, but I couldn't imagine being
When
called.
somebody call you a girlfriend and you 40 years old, that's diminish you as a woman.
Yeah.
So
That's
what do you
that's a
call
way-
them if you're
Right.
not my fiance or
Oh,
wife yet?
they say my old lady.
No.
Oh, yeah, they do say my old
They
lady.
do
Now, that's
That's
disrespectful right there.
disrespectful.
Is it?
I thought it was like endearing.
No, old lady. Old lady is, back in my day, that was mama.
I thought that was a grown man's way of
No.
saying
Like, this my
that's my
girl.
lady.
This my lady friend.
My
here.
lady
This my
friend.
lady friend.
Okay,
I like
friend.
friend on the end.
Well, just say
Well,
this
for
my
right
lady. How
now,
about this my
because I ain't
lady?
married
Yeah, my
you
lady
yet.
or my old lady.
No,
Okay.
I don't
Old
do-
lady.
Old lady.
Ain't nothing old.
No.
In my country?
You can just say we're in a relationship.
Can y'all put in the comment?
Wait, Angel said, "Wait, now I'm 30 plus." That's what I'm saying, Angel.
Okay, but then
I'm an old lady.
you ain't a girlfriend.
You can just say, keep it vague. We're in a relationship. This is the person I'm in a relationship with. We're together. I'm going to marry her one day. Boom.
Yeah.
Keep it pushing.
This is my partner.
No, don't just be introducing me.
It's like,
I like
it's
that.
like you take me to your mama and them house. Here I am, 60-some years old. You say, "Mama, this my boyfriend."
It don't match up when you put it like okay. I guess if you put it like that, it does sound a little
Okay, then.
childish.
All I got to say, we gonna bring us some more through here. Come on with the comments.
So Solomon said, I like what you said about a man does not find a woman and make her a wife. He finds a woman that is already a wife. First, this goes both ways. Second, your identity you identify shouldn't depend on someone else.
Your identity.
Your identity.
Yeah.
Your identity shouldn't depend on someone else. Period. I like that. Come on, Solomon.
I want to add to that, may I?
Yeah, come on.
Okay. So when it comes to the whole wifey thing, because I've been in a situation where I played someone's wifey who I was not their wifey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of has to do with what he's talking about, because I think I'm wifey material.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have in the past given it to people who weren't deserving of it. Because like he said, they didn't make me a wifey. I'm already wifey material.
Well, I played wifey before I became the wifey.
Mm-hmm.
And that came with a whole level of shenanigans that you shouldn't put yourself into. So don't play nothing. And like be who you're supposed to be.
What you talking about? You played wife?
Because we weren't married. We was living together. I'm calling you. I'm telling the truth. We were shacking up.
Oh, you're talking about the shack up phase.
Yes.
Okay.
Not the shack up phase.
Not the face. Till you made her honest woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that came with its own set, because again, you get out of the plan that God has for your life. Not saying that I regret anything, because thank God we went through everything that we went through to get us to where we're at.
Yes.
But it could have been a lot easier and a less traumatic on the heart.
Yeah.
So you got to really just try to stay in the order that God has for us.
Dang, that's a good point.
One of the things that
That's
I
a
teach
good
the
point.
women in the course that I teach is we have like an exercise that I have them do where you determine for you, because it's different for everybody. What are you willing to give at each stage?
Yes.
And for
That's
each
really
person, you do need to have like, okay, I'm not going to be doing X, Y, and Z until I'm a wife or until I know that there's a solid commitment. If we're still just kind of dating and figuring out if we want to move forward, I don't need to be cooking for you. I don't need to be spending the night at your house. I don't need to be meeting your family. You don't need to meet mine, because those things put me in the mindset of, we're not.
We're not there.
We're more than friends.
But stop playing with people too.
Yes.
Like, y'all real nasty out here. Y'all will lead these people on to no avail and then wonder why they snap.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
Stop playing with people. If you are
Really,
not interested,
that part,
convey
very well
that
know.
message very clearly.
Yeah.
People know.
Stop leading people on,
And that's why you got to ask questions too. Now, the people, I'll say the man, he needs to be very clear.
Yes.
But I also
the
think
women.
you have to ask questions.
Can I say something?
You gonna say it anyway.
Because it's my friend show. My friend said I can.
She can always.
Stop playing like you're an easy going girl when you're not.
God, yes.
Like, I had a friend tell me one time, like, oh, you said that on the second day. And I did, because I'm going to outline and demystify what I need and what I'm expecting in a man.
I'm not cool.
I'm not a go with the flow girl.
I'm not your
So
friend.
why would I go with the flow to appease you? Because then when we hit the flow, I'm looking stupid and I got all of this bitterness, resentment, anger, frustration towards you. If you are not a go with the flow girl, stop pretending because you want a man, because then you're going to latch yourself onto the wrong man and he going to treat you like a go with the flow girl until you hit the flow girl.
And then he going to step over you and go
to the next.
It goes back to authenticity. If I can't, who I am, I need clarity. I need reassurance. I need to feel secure.
Yeah. Yes.
And if you know that this man is not providing you with that, and you feel like you have to be afraid to ask the questions, that is the first indication that this Nedro ain't for you.
Nedro!
He ain't the one.
I love that. Okay, we got some more comments.
Y'all got to keep it real with yourselves.
Baby,
You that part.
You got to keep it real with
going.
yourselves.
Oh, look at my other daughter up here. They hot today.
So Monique said, when you're telling another about your partner in a negative night, it gives the person more reason to be fake. They'll do all the opposite things you're complaining about. So she's going back when you guys were talking about telling your information, your business out.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. You got some more. Keep it going.
All right. Solomon also added, a man doesn't make a woman a wife. He finds a woman that is already a wife. This goes both ways.
Okay. Yeah. And then I see something on Pierce.
Pierce said, it is okay to forgive your partner for cheating and assume it like it's their first mistake, and they'll be okay in the future.
Well, Pierce.
Yeah, it's like forgiving him for going upside your head like he ain't gonna do it again.
And pistol.
Pierce, are you asking that question? Because if you're saying that,
oh my gosh.
Okay, if you're saying you knowingly, and I'm not saying you cheated, you knowingly did something to your partner, and then you want them to turn around and forgive you, I think you're trying to make an excuse for what you're gonna do again. So in my opinion, why don't you make a good decision to do what's right? And I'm not saying you.
He's asking, is it okay to forgive the partner that did
I'm
cheating?
so sorry. Oh, that's what he's asking. I can't see. Okay. Well,
you look so pretty.
You can. You should. It depends. It depends. It depends on the. It depends. Yes. I wouldn't just straight up give them.
You could tell a person's character in the dating phase a little bit. Not all the time.
Yes,
do you
really
see that?
can.
But most of the time, you can tell if you're dealing with a person that has the groundwork.
If you've been with somebody over a year, they are who they are.
Yeah, it's certain mindsets.
They're going to show you who they are.
Yeah, certain mindsets let you know.
Understand and realize whether you want to accept this person.
Yeah, if they cheat on you in that first year, cut them loose. You know what I'm saying? But if it's someone,
we still having fun.
Yeah, right. But you're married. You've been married a long time. Like, you know, I think everyone has their own boundaries, but. I also used to think cheating was like the worst thing that could happen in a relationship. But then I went through a relationship that didn't happen, but a lot of like emotional, mental abuse happened. And I was like, you know what, cheating wouldn't be so bad. I mean,
I think we also have some comments.
It's like, damn, can you find somebody to
Can you read? I see something on here for Adonis is all hot here because his sister's right here.
Hey, AD.
Hey, AD, how you doing?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, let's put it like that. He over.
He said something. Scroll down.
He's several comments up there. There you go.
Okay. What's up, AD?
Yeah.
Oh, he said, yes, sexual discipline is needed for men. I argue it's more important for men.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Okay, go to the next one.
He also said, what did the song say? Take your time, do it right. We can do it, baby.
I know. Okay, keep going.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
He said, let's talk about the following ramifications. Who is going to want a woman who has been with 1K men?
Oh.
Who's going to want a man that's been with 1K women?
When I saw that, I was like, I mean, both ways. But whatever.
No, but yeah, I understand what he's saying.
But first of all, you're nasty, and
everybody nasty.
You're nasty, and you've already shown your values. So really, you're not someone that either one can really put up on a shelf.
And it goes both ways.
And back to that girl who wants to do the 1,000. If you're a man signing up to do that, you're just as nasty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Why you
want to
sleep
with 100 men too? Because you gross too.
Yeah.
Why you want an easy hit? That's crazy. I'm embarrassed.
And this part right here, women, you are woman.
Yes.
Not man. And so there are different things men can do
that they should not.
That should not, but women trying to keep up with men today.
That they also should not.
Yep.
That part.
Everybody needs to do what the word of the Lord say, not just women.
Because we are all fundamentally wired differently, as Abigail said earlier.
Yeah, we are.
Yes. And don't think that you don't have
consequences
you
for
land
women.
with these different men or when partners, you have soul ties to them. So,
but anyway, when
we
sleep with if I sleep with 1,000 women, I'm praised.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
In
I am praised, man.
You know,
I'm
men
praised
body
for it.
count
I'm
is a
talking
big
about
deal.
man, yeah. It's
You
a
praise them.
praise.
Oh, that just made my stomach
Get
hurt.
me out of the
Body
equation.
count.
Okay,
Nauseous,
I can't.
nasty.
We over here with our whole
Yeah,
fight.
get me out of the equation.
Okay.
But you sleep with 1,000 men.
Now, get me out of the equation.
No,
I'm
not
talking about
brother
you.
Carter.
I wouldn't do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I ain't never smoked.
I ain't never. Well, I agree. I still think that if you slept with 1,000 men and then you come and sleep
Me
with
as man, right?
you as man, and you come and sleep with me, all of those things that you laid with, you're bringing them into me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking. So it's just as effective in your body as it is in mine. Now,
but that don't matter. That don't matter to you, and I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about you as woman. That don't matter to you because it's good to you, and so you're not even considering.
I don't think so. I disagree.
Yeah,
No, you're not.
would.
No, you're not considering 1,000 that slept with because you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about the here and the right now.
1,000 is
agree.
crazy. If it was a reasonable number, I think maybe it wouldn't be considered. But 1,000,
I don't think.
I'm telling you, I'm considering it. If you are Jezebel,
you're trying to.
Oh yeah,
you're trying to make this about you versus just people in general.
Honest to God, I'm not. I'm gonna take you out of the equation. I'm gonna say if I knew that you were a man that is pretty much sleeping with everything. Everything out there. You're not appealing
so
to me.
you are a superstar athlete. And listen to me. Let me hear it out first.
Okay, go ahead.
Superstar athlete.
Yes, sir.
Travels all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't got to tell you he slept with no 1,000 women. But trust and believe.
But my body gonna feel it.
But he. See,
this is what y'all
we ain't having no more conversation.
No,
we ain't having no conversation.
Or if your body don't feel it, when men or women do this, they create an insatiable hunger. And they want to do really weird, kinky, nasty.
In addition to watching pornography.
So you done already opened up something. So you're bringing that spirit down.
But you got to be self-aware. You said you would feel it. But is it tasteful or toxic? But you said that you would feel it.
Yeah.
But you have to be self-aware to feel it.
That's why I said, if I know that you are nasty.
Girl, that man got you in $1 billion house right now. You driving 14 Bentleys at one time and can't drive but one at a time.
Again, it goes back to the woman.
That depends on the woman.
I love a good
Y'all
Bentley.
act like these women don't exist. What I'm saying?
No, I'm saying that depends on the woman.
No, these women are not out there.
That's how we get the stories. They out there. They're alive and well.
They're alive and well. They're sitting in it.
Okay,
right now they listening to the show right now.
Somebody's comment got muted, and it's one of your children. It says it shouldn't matter whether man or woman being that 3-letter word.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't it. There you go. That's okay. It ain't it.
I'm like,
it's all good. It's
that Houdini. I'm a hoe. You know I'm a hoe. I rock 3 different after every show. I'm a hoe.
Oh my God.
What are we doing with him?
How do you know? Because I told you so.
Brother Carter this morning is
Oh, that was my jam back in the day, girl.
He is on one this morning. Okay, then, guys, tell me what else you guys have to say to the side piece out there, or the one that needs to be delivered, or to the wife. Is it? Well. Oh, I'm going there.
Dang, girl.
Dang. Well, I'm gonna say to the. Can you just put that
in my business to these people? I don't know.
Baby, honey, they some things you need to know. Bam! Oh, bam! Y'all see that ring up there?
Blinding.
See, this is when no, don't go quick. Put it on up there. This is when you know that a man really cares.
When a man loves a woman. We'll put a ring on it.
You don't have to play
Even
those
if
How
games.
sparkly she is. Oh, girl.
And so, but you,
Icy.
here's, can I get it out, y'all?
Right, they so
Y'all so ooh, y'all out of control. She let it be known exactly what she wanted. She let it be known exactly what she was not going to put up with. But most importantly, Mr. Bennett knew exactly what he wanted. And he was willing to fight.
Yeah.
There you go.
That what you call him, Nedro?
Nedro.
That Nedro would do anything
Yes.
for me.
And
Come on now.
What you say?
Come on now.
Anything. I call Benny right now.
He on his way.
And Benny's on his way. I got your location. I'll be there in about, if you just give me 30 minutes, I think I'm going to take the Beltway to 99 to 54. And I love that because I call Benny with stuff I could solve. This is the problem. I'm a smart woman. But I call Benny, I'm like, Benny, just because I just like the way that Benny take care.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wanted to say publicly, with these
shout out to the
That's
Bennetts
my
out there.
boy.
Shout out to the
Don't
Bennetts
play with
out there.
him.
yes, to the Bennetts out there.
That's my
I
boy.
want to publicly say, Bennett,
It's a good man,
is a
Savannah.
good man. I'm so proud of
He
you.
is a
Thank
good
you
man.
for for the wife up, and you have a well-deserved young lady that is going to be by your side. Stephanie, I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you. I love you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You just put your business all out in the world.
And I knew she was going to something. I'm going there.
Yeah, so we don't have to play house. You like you heard what she said. She's highly intelligent. You don't have to play house. You don't have to settle.
You can be house.
You can be housed. But see, you already housed when he got with you because you was housed under God. Okay.
Let me say this: when I met that man, I wasn't easygoing.
No.
When anybody who dated me, if y'all date listening, and you took me on a date, you know that I wasn't easygoing.
Go ahead.
You have to have your value is predetermined.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go into a car lot and tell them, "Oh, I'm gonna pay $5,000 for this Mercedes." No, the value is predetermined. They're taking into consideration the labor, the parts, all the different things. But if you don't know your value, then you go into these situations and you settle and you compromise because what you want is so much louder than what you need.
Come on now.
And I didn't do that. Now, I ain't gonna say that everything went peachy in my relationship because there's high in our 30s, different backgrounds, whatever. But you decide who you're willing to endure the highs and lows with. And I know for myself that Bennett is the person that I want to be on the mountaintop with, and I want to be in the valley with because he's a rider.
Okay.
He's down the ride for a homicide when it's drama time.
You know Bennett's lows in his life.
Yeah.
Okay, and you accept him for his lows.
Yes.
And so that would make a perfect relationship, a good marriage right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
He know your lows.
Yeah.
Okay. And he know
my
the
lows.
triggers.
Y'all know my lows.
Yeah. So with that being said, hey Sasha, don't play wife. That's right. We're not playing wife around here. I want final thoughts. We're going to wrap this thing up. This has been an amazing show. I did not know how the Wifey and Sidepiece was going to go, but I know it was going to go. I thank you so much, Stephanie and Tiara, for doing this. But I want to go ahead and let you guys wrap it up and leave your
thank the
final
hundreds
thoughts.
and thousands of y'all that viewed this show today too.
We're going to do that in a minute.
Yeah, I had a lot.
I just want to give him the shout out right now.
Yes. All right, then. Let's go. Tiara?
My final thoughts on Wifey versus Sidepiece.
Wow.
You know, sis.
Oh,
Or
jam.
Or sir. If you're somebody's side piece out there, no judgment to you, because stuff happens. But you have a lot of power in your own life, and I think that have some standards. And sometimes having standards means that you have to wait a little bit longer. It means that you do have to be lonely for a little bit. But I think you need to get yourself out of harm's way, because there's no good that's going to come to you. You're not going to skip off into the sunset with this person. The law of sowing and reaping will not allow it. So, we all make mistakes. We all forget what it is, and just
Get back on the track.
get back on track.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's really good.
And how can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Tierra Sade. TikTok is gone, so you can't find me on there no more. After next month, I know Abigail is so sad.
I'm gonna find a way. I'll give me a phone from China. I don't care. I'll figure it out.
All right, easy.
You can also find me at Real Refined Podcast on all social media platforms. And yeah. You can find me here every third Saturday.
Every third Saturday.
I love
That part.
That part right there. All right, Miss Steph.
Okay, my final thoughts would be if you are contemplating a relationship next year, take the first 6 months of the year to be sequestered with God and learn about yourself and grow with Him. And then venture out into the dating world. What you want, it exists, and you can have it. And then I feel like I just want to say Happy New Year.
I think you should.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And you can find me on social media at official Stephanie Alexis. And you can find, if you're looking for counseling services, you can go to www.arabellacounts.com.
Drop it, girl.
83291. Sorry.
Before I do my final thought, there is a young lady that is so wise out here. I see her, and it's my cousin, Laurie Solomon. If you can read her comment.
Yes, Lori said, can the young lady with the black glasses address wives who believe because of spiritual reasons they should not leave their husband even if they are cheating?
Come on.
Ooh-wee.
I would say to that person to go back to their Bible because Paul talks about certain stipulations and specifications that allow you to sever ties in a marriage. And then I would also tell that person to go to the Holy Spirit and ask Him if they have made their marriage an idol and if that's the reason that they're holding on to it.
Wow. That mic drop right there. And then there was one more comment, if you can. I'm sorry. They just came in and I want to make sure we answer. I think it's Michael Ziegler.
Michael Ziegler said, there's a small percentage of virgins who get married, so everyone plays a side role until they become mature enough to handle what comes with marriage. It is easy as hell to get married.
Okay, Michael.
He also said, hard as hell to say happily married.
Well,
Facts.
that's why you also have to make sure. And the reason I read that comment, I wish I would have gotten Laurie's last for your feedback on it. But I read that comment because if you're taking the time to put your feedback and be engaged in here, we need to at least respond. So Tiara, I'm going to ask if you can respond to his comment.
The first part of it, that is a small percentage of virgins who get married. I believe that's absolutely true. I think a lot of us, and many of the small percent of virgins that get married was raised to understand what the Word of God says. It's very easy to get away from it because, number one, we didn't talk about this. At a certain age, your body starts talking to you. Yes. And you want to know what's up with it, right?
And start responding to that.
You want to try to figure out, what is this? Let me see what this is about, right? But when he talks about you play the side chick until you get married, that's absolutely true. Anybody that you are with that is not your, and I want to say God ordained husband.
That's right.
It's adultery.
Yes.
And when he talks about it's easy to get married, hard to stay married, I agree with that. I've seen a lot of marriages fail. We see a lot of marriages fail. About over half. And I believe a big part of it is because we don't do the work as single people to get aligned with what the Lord has called us to. And I think along with what He's called us to are the people that He's ordained to accompany us in doing that work. And so a lot of people go into marriages, which is easy, and they think they've won something, but it's not God ordained. And so you don't have the grace to deal with the stuff that comes with that. So I encourage people as singles for us to continue. I just had to go through a whole nother round of work, and I went through work in 2017, 2018. I thought I was done, that I was ready. And the Lord said, no, we got another round of work to go through. So you have to be sensitive to that and continue to go through that work because you don't want to get in a marriage that's going to make your life miserable, especially if that time of suffering was not ordained by the Lord. It's just suffering that you chose.
You ain't got a mic drop.
So
that part right there, mic drop.
Yeah. So going into a marriage, sometimes we find people that we're not yoked with. And, it's hard to plow a field when one want to go one way and the other one trying to go the other way, and that means you're unevenly yoked. And so you have to find someone that's willing to plow the field with you in life.
Yeah.
And that's what the yoke is. The yoke is the thing that they put around and the mules next, and then they both they're plowing the field together,
That's
going
so
straight
good.
ahead.
Yes.
And so you have to find somebody that yoked together with you, so you'll be able to plow the fields of life, and yet you may be able to carry on a wonderful marriage throughout eternity.
You see how he looked at me? All right, y'all. We just want to thank y'all. I know we ran over. This has been an amazing show, Brother Carter.
Yes.
That was your final thought?
Final thought.
And my final thought, once again, an amazing show. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.